Hi everyone and welcome back to some Path of Exile. Today we talk about, I guess, the final form of my Freezing Pulse Elementalist. The last upgrade has been acquired, tested, and I'm very happy with it. So let's jump right into it. What is this upgrade? So it is a Militant Faith. We use this to gain increased LE damage per 10 devotion and 3% increased effect of non-damaging ailments per 10 devotion. Right, non-damaging ailments refers to chill, shock, right? Remember, we do always shock on this build, so this is actually insane. We go from a 27% shock up to 40%. So yeah, that has been a huge damage increase. The price we pay, we can no longer generate frenzy charges. It's fine. There's two ways to go about this. You can either take Inner Conviction with this and gain the 3% more spell damage per power charge and lose frenzy charges. So while Cold Snap actually also generates power charges with this setup, which is insanely convenient on boss fights, let's be real. Or you can not allocate this and instead go back to the Charge Mastery with 3% increased damage per Endurance Frenzy or Power Charge, and make use of that and get your Frenzy charges back. For boss DPS, the way with the Charge Mastery is actually more damage. However, if the fight goes longer than you have frenzy charges from Wall Cold Snap, yeah, you're standing there with your pants down and lose damage again. So, feel-wise, Inner Conviction feels much better. So, let's go to a tier 16.5 map together, and let's run Ambush on this, and let's just see how everything goes. We might cut this together a little bit so we don't take away too much time. Because yeah, these maps tend to go on for a second or two, right? So we'll leave the deli out for now. Oh, hello. I need to pay attention now. There we go. And obviously we lost the ability to open chests with our spells, which is fine. That's okay. We can live with that. There we go. I have changed something in my setup here, so I feel very strange. But as you can see, we have 20% chill and 40% shock on this guy. Very nice, very nice. Like, the difference between the shock values is quite, I don't want to say shocking for crying out loud. But like, it is, let's say noticeable. And yeah, that guy had some shock resistance, as you were able to see. So that does cut, it cuts into your shock, right? Oh hey, an Amber Scarab. Thank you! There we go. Whatever. This is chaos. We should be able to deal with that. Okay. There is a lot of stuff going on. Ow. Yeah, if we go into a pack with that modifier though, that is a bit dangerous. For obvious reasons. Because we are not CI, right? We are not immune to chaos damage, so I need to be a little bit careful about that. That's probably a mod I wouldn't pick up if I would have been 100% focused here, but it's okay. Let's work on Props Shield guy, there we go. That needs to be dealt with rather sooner than later, but as you can see, we blow up packs still in a very enjoyable fashion. There we go, yes! Look at that! Or as Nico would say, ooh, look at that! Which is probably the most disturbing voice line from him, but that's fine. Okay, let's move on. There we go, feels good. We have the power charges up quite constantly at the moment, which is very sweet to see. There we go. And have some evasion rating, I don't mind that. Let's head to the boss. There we go. Come in here. Frostbomb, Sniper's Mark, Wall Cold Snap. And that's how the boss goes. That was nice. Right? It's a good amount of damage, and as you can see, we still just chain freeze this guy. It is what it is. So let me finish up this map. I will report back to you once this map is done. And we will meet over in the Path of Building. Alrighty guys, we are in Path of Building, and as you can see, 5 mil DPS on Freezing Pulse. Hell yeah, that goal was out of reach for so long that I nearly forgot about it, and with the Militant Faith, I was able to just hit it, and I was like, oh, crap, nice, that's awesome. So yeah, let's go over the Militant Faith. I will show you how to search for this, because it can be very, very tricky, and you can brick your build if you get the wrong Militant Faith, because depending on the number that you have there, it will change nodes. So it can happen that, let's say this one, instability, gets overwritten with, and it might say something like over here, right? 10% chance to inflict cold exposure on hit, and that will cut 1 max power charge away from you. So yeah, it is very, how do I say this? It's very important to take your time to copy the item you want to buy into your Path of Building before you just buy it, because you can sometimes, if you really don't look carefully, you can cut your damage almost in half of what it should be. If you lose the power charge, you also lose, let's say, the increased mana regen and the chance to block spell damage from Mystic Bulwark. Suddenly, your Aegis Aurora is no longer reliably proccing. You lose a lot of mana regen and suddenly feel like you need to run a mana flask again, which feels absolutely horrendous. Or even worse, you overwrite Golem Commander and you suddenly lose one of your 4 golems, which also feels insanely bad, right? If you overwrite Heart of Ice, you lose some cold damage. But 6% cold pen, that's a lot to lose, right? And as you can see, with the setup we want to, we achieve 170 devotion. Remember, this is 4% per 10, so 17 times 4 and 17 times 3. It's a lot, right? It's a lot, and with the wrong jewel, you lose so much. Also, highly important, before you have your Militant Faith, do not allocate this, right? Without this jewel, this is a damage loss of like over 0.5 mil. It is insane how bad this cuts into you if you allocate this before you have this jewel in here. Okay, long story short, how do we search for a jewel like this? We go to find timeless jewel in Path of Building. We search, I set this up. There we go. You go here and you click on Militant Faith. There we go. And then you go Conqueror. You want Dominus for Inner Conviction. Click that. Devotion modifier, I have set them up, but yeah, you can choose. You go to LE damage and effect of non-damaging ailments. And there we go. You need to click filter nodes. This will enable you to protect the nodes you want to protect. And also node distance, this decides how many points you want to spend to grab devotion. We want to spend none of it once the tree is set up like this, right? So now we can go in here, we say, hey, okay, I want to protect all of these nodes, because all of them give us something very important, right? Did I have deep thoughts in there? No. Instability, very important, and Golem Commander, extremely important. So then you click search, and these are all the jewels, these are the numbers that will be fine for you to slot in. Now, obviously, you don't want to run in to trade and copy paste every single number of this, right? So what you can do is you hold down shift and click on the first one. You can scroll down a little bit, not too much, and then shift click another number. And you have a selection now of different jewels. Let's say we extend it to down here. You then click on copy trade URL, and you copy paste it into your browser, and you will see sometimes this happens, right? No result found. What to do then? Return to your path of building and just click copy next trade URL. And if you scroll down, you can see your selection has been extended to the next set. Copy paste again. Wow, there is one. And as you can see, it's going for 25 diff at the moment. Now, I paid 5 for mine, so it can be viable to just go copy next trade URL, new tab, and continue the search, right? Okay, I went through all of them, and at the moment this is the only one, right? I don't know why it's suddenly that expensive. I don't understand, but it's fine. It will change, and yeah, it's late into the league and stuff, right? So yeah. So before you buy any of these jewels, right, please always go to here, click this copy item. There we go. Go to your path of building, and let's say we don't have this at the moment, right? You go to items, you press Ctrl V, and just add to build, right? Don't change anything. Slot in the jewel you found, and there we go. This one hasn't changed our build. You can see Heart of Ice is still the same, Instability, Deep Thoughts, Cruel Prep, Frostwalker, Mystic Bulwark, everything's the same. Now this is Prodigal Perfection again, so it has changed another node. Ha! Look, Smite the Wicked. Chance to inflict fire exposure. Oh yeah, that's probably why it is so expensive sometimes, because other builds use the same modifiers, right? Yeah. But yeah, that is how you make sure that everything is going well. Do this before you do buy the jewel, please. There we go. That is so important. All right. Also, I did level to 97 with this, right? I put that point into block recovery and ES. This gives me 50% increased ES from my shield and 50% block recovery. So it doesn't do anything damage-wise. It gives me a little bit more energy shield, which is good. And it also gives me more block recovery, which is also good. Right, this is the final setup, as I said. I probably need to take a look at the... Oh, no notes here. Okay, right, that's okay. I might just leave it at that then. Cool, okay. I will work on a leveling POB again. I will go through the campaign again in SSF, because I want to show you guys how this looks like when you are doing your first map, right? With trash gear, that's just how SSF is, right? We take all the trash gear we have and just show off the very first map of that character. It's probably going to take a little while until I get there, but that's fine. Link to the path of building will be in the description below. And with that, thank you very much for watching, guys. And as always, take care. Bye.